You can fool some of the people all of the time and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. Well, S&P, we got fooled. Maybe it wasn't their fault. Maybe it was Bank America hype. Maybe it was social media hype. Let's talk about the algos, how they did on it, the action or overreaction to the stocks this morning. We got other stuff to cover. Apple, big conference, been in the stock up ahead of that. Earnings, not much to talk about. A ton of ratings to cover here. It's going to be a ratings Monday here on pre-market prep. Psyched to be back with you. Update on Newark Airport. Let's get things started.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
All right, we're in the green, up 10.5 handles, poised to break out here towards all-time highs. That's right, 6017.25, eyeing Friday's high at 6025. Buck under pressure a little bit. Inside day so far down 20 cents, 98.94. TLT clinging to the 85 level at 85.32. USO clears 70, a breakout on in today's session, up 33 cents, 71.71. GLD, well, it's up modestly, 58 cents, 305.76. SLV, 33.04. Can we say catch-up trade in the SLV? And Bitcoin still hanging just under 110, up $3,340, 108,100. Okay, let's bring in Triple D here. And interesting Friday, Dennis. The nice, easy Friday afternoon, slow trading. Nothing to get real excited about, right?
Yeah. Well, we were sitting here and it was boring. And I mean, it would continue to be boring because me and Brent were sitting there and I had a barbecue to go to, which I was supposed to be at by 5:30. So I was like, okay, it was 10-minute drive. I'll get to 5:15, get the S&P announcements there, trade out of whatever, I've got there and then move on. Well, wouldn't you know, me and Brent sitting there and at 5:13, SP Psych goes down. Obviously, everybody's hitting it so much. The Robinhood people are refreshing it so much. We were refreshing it too, and it couldn't handle it. So the entire site was down for like an hour. So then we were trying to figure it out, have they added, haven't they added? Then there was rumors flying around on Twitter and X and in social media that Robinhood had indeed been added. They even had flying around. It was like Robinhood officially announces that they've been added to the S&P. And me and Brent are looking for that release. And you can't find, I don't see anything. We didn't see anything official from Robinhood, but there was people talking that Robinhood has announced they've been added to the S&P. We're like, well, the site's down, so they must have been. So Robinhood, if you show the charts here, Joel, and we're going to add them right now because we're not showing the charts, just show the Robinhood from Friday night. It was nuts. It went all over the place. So originally at 5:15 p.m., the stock, maybe you can blow up that after hours action because it's
right
crazy.
Here.
Yeah. Originally, the stock tanked right at 5:15. And Brentster made a good call. He's like, Denny, I think it's all the algos that see that they're not added and they've hit it, but the site's down. So it was right at 5:15, they all went down. App went down like 20 points. Hood went down like 3-4 points. A couple of the other smaller ones went down as well. Right at 5:15, and you were like, there's no announcement. There's nothing. Because I figured, nothing was added. And then you're like, well, there's no announcement. The site's down. So, we don't know. We're in the dark here. And then all of a sudden, maybe 6-7 minutes later, Robinhood blasts off to $80. It goes from 70 to 80. I was like, oh, that's it. Somebody knows. I think doesn't just go up 10 points on nothing. No, apparently it does because it did. It went all the way up to 80. And then, people are talking about on social media, yeah, it's been announced, Robinhood's been added, and they're saying it all over the place. I don't know if somebody made that up. I don't know where that came from. But it was obviously false information because indeed it was not added. And then, the stock started to leak and then obviously is now settled down where we see it down here now around 4% off the pre-market lows, down 5%. But bottom line is S&P added nothing new to the S&P 500, so no new ads. They did some smaller additions to some of their smaller indexes, but there was no new ads. So like Robinhood was the main one that everybody was talking about, and I thought it was going to get added too. It did not. Bank of America, wrong obviously as well. They put out this big paper, Brentster, like talking about what's going to get added on Friday. Yeah. All these speculated names, and they added none. They didn't do any.
They did something. So we should be clear about that. And you were, Dennis. But so what SB did announce is they announced rebalancing for the S&P New Zealand index, the S&P Australian index, the S&P Topics index. I'm not sure what that is. The S&P Euro 350, the S&P Thai inflation link. They did a bunch of things, but it just wasn't what Wall Street was expecting. Yeah. So, we're in this position here where I mean, I think traders are gonna try to improve themselves. So they're looking for some kind of fault. Was it something that I could have done as a trader better? Is it something that S&P could have done? I don't know if we need to point fingers, but I would say that when this B of A note was circulated early last week, Monday or Tuesday, we were kind of skeptical of the timing anyways. This note got circulated around trading communities, and then we went and looked, and we're like, oh, this was out at least 12 hours ago. So that was kind of one signal right there. We heard that there might have been a second B of A note. We think that there was a second B of A note later, Wednesday or Thursday. Yep. So I think that could have been an opportunity for Bank of America to clarify, hey, we're not totally sure that this is going to happen on Friday. The momentum really got kind of sucked up here, and traders were looking for something to focus on at the end of the week, and they created that themselves. Now, something else that we should also be clear about here is we're going to get S&P 500 additions at some point. It's probably going to happen over the next month too.
They happen all the time.
They happen all the time. Yeah,
we see usually on Fridays, and it's always at 5:15. But the dates are never disclosed by the S&P that we're going to be announcing these changes. We knew they were going to talk about the rebalance a bit, and that's why everybody assumed that there was going to be S&P ads or deletes announced, and they just didn't do any. So
and Dennis, for somebody like you, you had a good thesis here. I think you had a spidey sense here, which is good. You aren't going to be able to keep your trades on from this catalyst for much longer than today. So it puts you in an extra unfortunate position, because your thesis here still is probably going to pan out at some time. The timing was just off, and you can't afford to be holding your shares here when your timing's off. So it's a bit of a double whammy here, unfortunately, for you. And I'm sure
and I stayed away from Robinhood, and I stayed away from APP because I felt that those trades were really crowded. I thought the uncrowded one was LNG. I didn't think I see anybody talking about it in social media. I went through and looked, and I'm like, this one was mentioned the Bay of A note, but I think it's flying on the radar, and I think it's got a good possibility to be added. I still think it's got a good possibility to be added. But they're hitting them all and asking questions later. I thought it was going to go down 3 or 4 points. It's down 7 right now because it's bid up at 236. So it's down quite a bit more than I thought it would go. I thought 239, 240 I'd be able to get out. So what I was looking at, and I took a position LNG into it. I thought, I probably lose 4 points if it doesn't get out, and I think I make 8. I think I make 10 or 12 if it does. So I like the 3-to-1 setup. I did not think it was going to fall. It was down as much as 10 points this morning. And I was like, I can't believe they knocked LNG down that much. Natural gas is down this morning too, which probably doesn't help it. But it is bouncing back. And all of these things are bouncing back here this morning. Let's just go do the technicals, Joel, on Robinhood and Nap, because Robinhood was one that was talked about everywhere. HOOD had run up into the report. It was up 11% last week, or run up into the potential ad. It was up 11% last week. And I tweeted out before the event, I said, if Robinhood doesn't get added, it's going to go down. Don't think this is just up or nothing. It's going to go down. And we actually see, that it is down 4% here. But it's come off the lows here as well. Probably as traders realizing, to your point, Brent, that, hey, it's not that they're not getting added. It's that they're not getting added, right now. So timing is, of the ad. I still think Robinhood goes in. I still think LNG goes in eventually, but they're not going in right now.
I think with Robinhood here, you just have to just look at the upside here for potential resistance. Yesterday's low, Friday's low, 73.10. But I think the better number, and I don't know if it's an all-time closing high because it went crazy on the first couple days of its IPO. But right now, people are praying for that market, 74.88. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah, I mean, I know, Dennis, I know you put some options on in the STN room, and you're like, man, I don't know. And then you took them off. Yeah, rightly so. But right now it's a 74.88. And then I'll give you a number on the downside here. You did pierce your double bottom at 71. So if you just want to throw all this out and say it's not out of the S&P, it's still a strong stock in an uptrend, then it's going to hold 71, work its way back up to that close on Friday at 74. 88. But what I think is just amazing because I was listening to you guys in the STN room in the background, and it was like,
Yeah.
it's in, it's out, it's out, and it's like, no, it wasn't out, and then no, it wasn't out, it's in now. Wow. I mean, the algos were just going
They were nuts.
absolutely
The moves
crazy.
were
The
nuts.
No
so
information.
the thesis that I think you like, Dennis, is I bet that an algo was programmed at like 5:15 and 4 seconds. If there's no extreme price action in Robinhood by 5:15 and 3 or 4 seconds, we're just gonna sell that puppy, right?
I think it was programmed to see if there's no ad, and it would have triggered when the site went down. But we don't see an ad at right after
There you
5:15.
go. Because the
So it
site's
was
not because
triggered,
it
and
wasn't
that's
in.
they tanked. To your point, right at 5:15,
Yeah.
they all tanked,
Yeah.
and we're like, well, we don't know that they're not added with the sites down. And you said it right away. You're like, I think this is algos that drove it down. You're the one that said it, Brent. And I was like, I think you're right. I
Well,
think
we
they looked
knew
through a
that.
program to see no ad and hit them.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, it was fun, but it was, it was tough for some traders, I'm sure. I think the big takeaway that we discuss here for just a second, Dennis, I know you have feelings here on this, is the power of social media, folks. This is the power of social media. We got caught up in this thing. There's, decisions happening. Dennis, what do you have any warnings here? Do you have any tips on just how
Yeah.
important social media is for us here?
Well, it's crowded trades 101. And I mean, this hood app trade was very, very crowded. Everybody talking about it. But the whole entire sheet from Bank of America was crowded. So if you look at the stocks on it, Robinhood down 3.91%, App 11 down 3.8%, LNG down 3.33%, Carvana was on it, it's down 2%, ARES is down 3.1%. You see, they're just knocking them all down. Viva Systems is on it. They're forgiving that one. That one's not down at all. Interactive Brokers was on it. It's down 1.5%. Duolingo was on the second sheet. It's down 1%, the second note. There was a couple others on there too. I didn't write them all down. But every single stock on there, is down. And I think there's people that were just buying a bunch of them and speculating. I was too. I did the LNG. I speculated on that one. I really felt it was LNG's time. But then they chose not to add anything. So, I mean, we knew there was going to be downside. We outlined that. We said they don't get added, they go down. And they absolutely did. And that's what happened.
I think instead of doing all the technicals and all these things, I think just look at the close. To me is just a major number, and then see where they're looking in relation to Friday's low. I'm looking at app here. I mean, that had a really nice run going into it. It was running before the rumored add to the S&P. Carvana, that's had a nice run, and once again, wow, boy, this thing's come all the way back, huh? And then LNG, I mean, I'm not. I don't know. Adding a natural gas company. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. I exactly see the reasoning for that.
It's diversification. It's a huge company that makes
Diversification.
a lot of money. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my call, Joel. So, that wasn't Bank America had on the note, but I've gravitated. LNG's been talked about being added for a long time. So I just felt like it was
Is
their
Bank
time.
America's came out and said anything? Since I mean, I don't
I don't
follow
think
it.
so. They're probably hiding under his desk. Probably a lot of hate mail there this morning.
Yeah.
A lot of people lost a lot of money on that Bank America note.
Well, I think more. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the hood. I mean, wasn't everyone in the chat here? A lot of people leaning towards like hood's got to go in.
Joel, I was. We got to keep moving away from me. I'll own it. I said I thought Robinhood was going, and I said I'm not doing it because I said I think it's too crowded for me to do it. But I thought it was Robinhood's time, and I thought I was going. I still think Robinhood's going, and I think it's going to be the next stock that goes in. I think when they add another stock, it's going to be Robinhood, but it's not today. They chose not today, and who knows? The site was down. Like, who knows what happened behind the scenes there? They may have been adding some stuff, and then they're like, well, we're so embarrassed by the site being down, all this other stuff. You never know, so maybe they pull it and they do some other things. You don't know what happens behind the scenes, but the site was down for a long time. So it was a big circus show. But let's move on. There's a lot of other stocks.
Yeah, I love Brent's title.
And I'm losing money on it too. So nobody's happy about this topic. So
let's
stocks moving. I'm taking over here because there is quantum and there are drone stocks both moving substantially here. And the quantum stocks are all up this morning. IONQ, it looks like your driver here. They had multiple headlines here. Moving, pioneering breakthroughs in quantum computing with Oxford Ionics. And then they're talking about accelerated drug development application with this AstraZeneca, AWS, and NVIDIA. These were press releases from Business Wire. So multiple INQ press releases here this morning. And IONQ is flying here. We're up 7.3%. Obviously, we've had a significant pullback in the last week. As you know, these things go up, they could pull back. They pull back to trend. But the overall IONQ trend has still been up. And you've got all the other quantum stocks moving here, too. We can fly through those. And Joel, give us some technicals maybe on IONQ.
I love 42.94 because that fills the gap that you had after you were making a run at all-time highs. Haven't hit that in the pre-market. Your pre-market high is 42.46. So I'll just be looking at that. You're playing that for a gap fill. You have to respect that. And then it kind of opens up into that big red bar. You got some work to do in that big red bar in the gap. Next daily high comes in at 48.62. I'm seeing this. This is up, and then we could talk about the other stocks, but just don't get nuked in this trade. There's a lot of, we saw what happened. Maybe these moves aren't as big or whatever, but you saw what had the nuclear trade. The whole world's going nuclear tomorrow. You saw what those stocks did. CEG, I mean, the daily chart doesn't even reflect how high it was. So just be careful on those. Keep an eye on your pre-market high. And then the previous day's high. Pablo's been asking about APLD for about a week and a half, and so I'm going to do that right now.
Go ahead.
Pablo, the stock's on a run. It's trading green. I'll give you a target at yesterday's high, 1542. Nothing on the monthlies. Obviously, nothing on the weeklies, nothing on the dailies. Volume still real strong in this stock. So as long as you keep going up on strong volume, just keep an eye on that closing high of the move, 1443. There you go, Pablo.
Back to the quantum stocks here. So we talked to IONQ. Just going through some of the other ones. I'm long RGTI. I bought that one on the IONQ headline at 1150. It's slowly moving up here.
Nice.
Just day trades. QBTS is up just a little bit here too. You just don't know. Like, these stocks have all pulled back in the last week and a half. So now maybe they get started here again. Can this be a Kickstarter to go? ARQQ is another one. That one's up here this morning as well. So all these quantum names, QUBT is another one. All these little quantum names are moving. So we just wanted to bring those to you as well.
Watch your leader. Watch your leader. Even if you're not trading it, watch your leader. That's the catalyst. Yeah. That's why we're up. IONQ. Watch your leader.
So then you got drones all going here this morning. And there's, what was the headline? I had it and then I missed it here. It was just not stock specific. It was something with I don't have the headline in front of me, but all the drone companies, who cares? All the drone companies are moving up here this morning on a headline.
I think it was Joby. Was it Joby News? Joby Aviation? Let me look. I'll do some digging here.
I don't think it was a stock. I thought it was something from the administration on drones. I think it was like out of like government stuff.
Yeah, that was 324 on Friday. President Trump signs executive order to bolster U.S. airspace security against potential threats from drones.
It continues, Joel. We know like the inefficiency of this market, and when a story gets going, it can continue the next morning. That's what everybody's talking about here this morning. I've seen it in social media just going like crazy. So let's just go through a lot of these companies. Archer Aviation, ACHR. And if you see technicals on some of these that you like, stop me, Joel. But this is pulled back. I mean, ACHR ran from $8 up to 14, came all the way back down to 9. Now it's starting to lift here again. ACHR, pun kind of intended. Joby, Joby, 10% up here this morning here. RCAT, RCAT, that's moving up. You've got, what was the other one? There's just a pile of these things moving here this morning. And then the one that I'm in is AeroVironment, which I've been in for a long time, AVAV. That stock's up 2.6%.
Oh, that's been a nice comeback.
Too. It's doubled in the last month. The stock has doubled. I sold some of it on the way back up, and I wish I would have just held it all. I had a big position in it. And on the way back after it hit $100, and I was actually down in it. I bought this like 119 like a year ago. I rode up to like 230. I'd sold some of it like at 190, and then it came all the way back down to 100. I was like, I can't believe this has come full circle. I had it in my long-term account. So then when it went back up to like 140s, 150s, I was like, I'm going to take some more off. And now it's just continued here. So just buy and hold, I guess, and eventually they come back.
Wow, I did not notice that comeback. Boom, boom, boom. Kind of like this 1156 area. That's halfway back of this big break. Also the area of a double top here. I really like this 1150 area. If this holds 1150, goes 1150 bid, stays 1150, boom, then you work your way into this red bar. If not, people, I should have sold it in an 11 handle. Well, here's your opportunity. JOBY, trading up 86 cents. $9. $9 is a nice round number. It's also the area of the recent high of the move. You had two highs over 906, 918. Did sprint over that in the pre-market. So I'll be eyeballing the $9 level. Who else fits into this category?
RCAT. Maybe we want to do RCAT.
Oh yeah, RCAT. This one's just coming out of its base here. I'm not going to really try and pick resistance in this one, except look at Friday's high, 880. That is your level in RCAT.
Super small one. We don't usually like talking dollar stocks, but Brent's giving us UAVS too. I've never traded UAVS. The dollar stocks can sometimes go too. Let's trade 1.2 million. It's up 7% here this morning, so that's another one as well.
It's a dollar.
Is Unusual Machines one too? Is UMAC one too? UMAC isn't it?
Is that Intuitive Machines?
Yeah. Unusual Machines, Intuitive Machines, Unusual Machines. I don't know. I think it is.
Okay.
I think it's drones.
Yeah, that's trading up a stick.
Yeah, it's drones. Unusual Machines, UMAC too. So all these things are going here again. They're all igniting. So have a whole list. Here, I'm making the list right now. This is how you make money, folks. You write these lists, and then when you get news, you know which ones to go get. So let's go through the whole thing one more time. So we get the whole list here. So obviously AVAV is the one, that's like, the big one there, but it's like doesn't move as fast as these smaller ones. And then you got Joby, and then you got UMAC, RCAT. You got this little UAVS one. Who are we missing? DRPO. The chat's all over.
Did you put RCAT on it?
Yeah, I did. I don't have DRPO. I'm just looking. Carmen, maybe you want to check that ticker again. Carmen's giving us OPTT. I don't know. That's a 55-cent stock. I'm not sure. And that's hardly. Oh, yeah. We forgot Archer. ACHR. I know. I always want to do ARCH too, but it's not. It's ACHR. You naturally want to do ARCH, but it's ACHR. ACHR. These are your drones. They're giving me PDYN. I don't know this one. PDYN. Paladine. This is drones too. This is great. So this is how you make money. It's doing stupid things like this. Like you don't always have to make money today on it, but you get your list. And when these lists, you all of a sudden have Joan news, you know where to go. Okay.
Dennis, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Do you have like room in your office like for a big whiteboard?
I would be good with a big whiteboard. The problem is I have all windows in here. 2 windows. I only have 2 walls, and one wall's all closet, and the other wall's got this banner, and then I've got this file cabinet with like some cool things in it.
Joel, what do you want? What do you want Dennis to do with the whiteboard?
He wants me to write down all the stuff on a big whiteboard, which is not a bad idea at all.
So you know, instead of going like, "Oh, where's my piece of paper on this?" and
It's always, I always have this one right here. So on this list of all these pieces of paper, I've got all the nuclear stocks, I've got all the quantum stocks, I've got all the little crappy AI stocks, like the little like $1, $2.
That's all on the same piece of paper.
Oh yeah, little groups on the same piece of paper.
Joel,
I have tariff-resistant stocks. I got hospital stocks. I've got the, the healthcare ones. Which ones? I got the QQQ non-tech components here. That's
let the guy do it how he wants to, Joel.
No, but because what I was thinking, Dennis.
Well, the problem is house cleaner comes in and throws them all out.
Yeah,
crap.
That's what I say. No, Dennis, this is what I'm thinking. I don't know what your office
Blade,
looks like.
that's a good one.
Okay.
I forgot about Blade.
Like in my office, I could, I might even do this I just have a whiteboard here. And then so you're trading, you don't have to look at paper. You could just look up and like.
It's a good idea to have the whiteboard.
It's a good idea.
I'm trying to look around here. Like I got window taking up these 2 walls. So, and then I've got TV in the corner. I have closet here. There's no wall there. I have this wall behind me, but I got the banner here. I mean, I guess I could put a whiteboard there. It'd look kind of weird.
No, because you'd have to turn around to look at it. I wanted
so that's why it's right on my desk, sitting in front of me. This little paper. I keep that paper with the list.
Look at this comment from John Boston. There's a program called Excel, and you can put them in there instead of a whiteboard. Wow. I will just say it's it's whatever association thing you use to remember better. There's something about Dennis's mind where if he takes this little piece of paper and writes down here, he just can remember better. Maybe the whiteboard isn't for him, Joel. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So we talk about catalysts and news anticipation and events coming up. Well, what's Apple got going on?
They always got something going on.
They're always talking Apple. Apple WWDC, that's the Worldwide Developers Conference at 1 p.m. today, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. They do it over on the West Coast. I think it's at 10 a.m. on the West Coast. What to expect? And, I'm going to be a little facetious here a little bit, but there's a good takeaway. So I'm looking through a couple articles. I looked through a Bloomberg article. I looked through a Tech Radar article. Try to understand what big updates the Apple heads are focused on for this event. Is it a potential catalyst? Of course, it's some kind of catalyst. How large of a catalyst is WWDC for Apple anymore? That's kind of what I want to focus on here. So here's a few of the updates that we're expecting to be announced here this afternoon. Big one is Mac software updates. It's going to be the iOS 26. There's going to be a brand new interface based on the operating system that Apple uses for their Vision Pro, their augmented reality headset. This is going to apply to iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, Apple TV Watch. The Vision Pro headset's going to get eye. So apparently you can use your eyes to scroll. There's going to be updated software branding. There's going to be very minor changes to AI like Siri. Customizable widgets for iPhones, folks. Wow. So consider this. Bloomberg article. They have one bullet. The first highlight for the event is updates to Mac OS software. The second bullet in a list of like 10 bullets. This is the second bullet. Consider this. While there has been speculation that the app icons will be round, like the shape, like a circle, to match the style on the Apple Watch and the Vision Pro, the shape is largely staying the same on the iPhone and the iPad. Folks, that's the second update that Apple is expected to do here this week, the second biggest one, making their icons more round.
This doesn't sound very big.
It sounds very like innovative. Nothing. It sounds like nothing. So yes, we need to have this event on our radar, especially if you're an Apple shareholder. But the magnitude of this thing as a catalyst for Apple shares has just gone down so far, and it's gone down correlated, in my opinion, with the lack of innovation at Apple. Your plays, folks, I think, for these events aren't Apple anymore. It's potential other companies that could be mentioned or have some kind of implication. Like a few WWDCs ago, a few years ago, the big one was like the oxygenator companies or whatever, like companies that have like an oxygen meter. Stock in that space move more than Apple did on this event.
Yeah. I think you make a good point. I don't know if it's going to be Apple the mover on this. I do think it's going to potentially be other companies that may be mentioned here. And they make another good point, which we've talked on this show for years, and why I'm no longer an Apple investor, is that there has just been a lack of innovation, in my opinion, over the last 10 years since Steve Jobs died. I mean, there's been, improving things, making the wheels more round, but we haven't had a new invention like the wheel. You just think about, the innovation that came from Apple, under Steve Jobs, from, even like Windows was originally, stolen from by Microsoft, but it was originally Apple. And, and then continuing on, the iPhone was just, a world-changing technology. And now, it's basically just still relying on the iPhone for all their cash cow. Like, where is the innovation? Vision Pro was supposed to be that thing. It looked cool, but then everybody put it on and it gave them a headache after 20 minutes, and people weren't ready for it. And then they were so expensive, $3,500, and people weren't ready for that either. And it was a flop. Is it going to continue to improve? Are they going to continue to do better things? Probably. But they have tried a lot of cool things, trying to do a lot of things at Apple, and nothing has caught on. This is an iPhone cash cow company that is still milking that. And the story of the stock appreciation over the last 10 years has been one of buybacks and just multiple expansion. Because, back when Steve Jobs was around, the stock was trading 14 times. Now it's trading 28 times. So people are excited about what's coming for Apple. But at what point in time do we just say, hey, maybe they're just not as innovative as they were under Steve Jobs?
Do they take individual requests for these developer conferences?
I don't
What
know.
do you want to request?
I have to reboot my phone like 2-3 times a day. It just gets locked up. Does that happen to you?
No, it does not. What
Really?
phone are you on? One? Which one are you on?
Oh man, don't ask me. Whatever. It's pretty new. It's pretty new. I think it's does it tell you on your phone what your phone is?
I mean, unfortunately, modern electronics degrade pretty quickly. They want you to buy another one, So, like, yeah, if
they do it on purpose.
Joel, if you're having to reset a few times a day, I mean,
I don't know. It just gets locked up, and I give it to Lisa, and I'm like, Lisa, can you unlock this?
Go on your phone, hit settings, then go to general, then go about.
Yeah.
Settings, general, about. I'm an iPhone 16 Pro Max, so I'm pretty new.
Ooh. I'm an iPhone 15.
That's pretty
okay.
new.
I mean, that's not that bad. Yeah.
Should not be doing that.
You know what? I'm not.
You got a lemon.
I'm not getting. I do. I got a lemon. Real quick, look at that. John Boston, I had that problem. I had to replace the SIM card. I use Android, and that happens more in my kids.
This is why we talk about our problems in this chat, because somebody figures it out.
Because the awesome community.
Yeah.
All right. Technical levels. Interestingly, you're not at Friday's high. That's 205.70. Last week's high 206.24. So there are your levels on side. But I think more importantly, this is mirrored in a trading range here. Really hasn't responded to the market rally. It's just blah. I mean, it's a big trading range, and you're almost smack dab in the middle at 204. So I keep an eye, see if you can hold it. I mean, I'm not buying it thinking they're going to release like the next great thing, or not shorting it because it usually pukes during these conferences. But whatever. What time did you say it was, Brentster? 1 o'clock Eastern?
Yep, 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
We'll watch. I think Brent's right. Watch for other name companies, smaller names that might be mentioned. That might be the driver here. I don't think Apple's going to be a driver here overall. It did run up a little bit in this 200 to 205. We'll see. Often you see the stock strong ahead of the events and week after. So if that temperature or if that theme continues to stay, that's what I would look for here. Lots of other movers here. We don't have a guest, correct?
Correct.
We don't have a guest.
Yeah, guest canceled last second, so we don't have a guest today, unfortunately. But that's okay. You got me, Joel, and Brent. So that's good. Guests enough for us. You were gonna say, Brent? What were you saying?
We get a lot of requests not to have guests. I get a lot of emails saying, "Why do you guys have?"
Well, here's a non-guest day. See how you like it.
Okay, so you people are happy then.
How you like it?
I can't say you people.
Why don't we?
Can we also, Dennis? Can we talk about the little drama on Wall Street?
What's
the babies, the big. I mentioned drama, Dennis. Memory. I mentioned this to Lisa over the weekend, and she goes, "You know what? They're both big babies," is what she said.
Was there any updates from the drama over the weekend? I was not really tuned in. Not a rhetorical question.
It sounds like they both wished each other well, so it actually was pretty good. I would say overall, I didn't think there was anything it was definitely not an escalation. It was de-escalation over the weekend, so that's good. Okay. Bad news is everybody's listening, and Baird downgrades Tesla today to neutral, so they're canceling their buy ratings on this stock. Baird analyst, Tesla's strong performance following a fundamentally poor quarter has been partly a product of the anticipation for the June launch of both a more affordable vehicle and robotaxi service. We believe Musk's comments regarding the robotaxi ramp rate are a bit too optimistic, and we believe this excitement has been priced into shares. We also note that the Musk's ties to President Trump have added considerable uncertainty.
Yeah, you don't say.
Yeah, think? We see Tesla as a core holding long-term, but are stepping to the sidelines for now. Okay, so that was Baird. Argus downgrades it as well. 2 downgrades. I don't have the Argus note.
Argus doesn't say, Dennis, Argus doesn't say much
stuff.
Anyways. Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
So Baird downgrades, Argus downgrades. They both had buys. They one goes to neutral, one goes to hold, which is the same. So they're both going neutral here. So Tesla, I'm kind of neutral too, because I like the long-term story. I agreed complete with the Baird note. I like the long-term story. I think there's still a long-term story here, but there's a lot of uncertainty here with this whole Trump-Musk situation here. So can robotaxi ramp? Can we, that help out? Can we get, a little lift off of that? Maybe. It better go well. But we're not going to have that added bonus of he's in with the president, so Tesla's going to be able to do whatever the hell they want. That is now gone. And there should be a discount for that. I think that discount happened last week, which we obviously talked about the potential for that when we were talking about it as a short at 335. So I went down to 273, it's 295. It becomes a lot more difficult in this area. Technicals, Joel?
Man, oh man. I preached this setup last week, and it was there. And the lines are still there. I just didn't draw them in now. I said this was absolutely a trap door here. The 331, 333 area. You bounce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You bounced off that level, right? And I tried to convince you, Dennis. I said if it goes down here, oh man, I think it's going down under 300, and it did. I don't have a new level yet. I don't have a good setup yet, either to buy or to sell. Right now, I'll say resistance at the close 295.14, and then let's see if you're 17 points off Thursday's low. So what the bulls have to do is they got to build a base above that low, and then mount a little strike towards 300. But it's just out of favor now. It's down 1.5%, and the S&Ps are up 0.16%. So even the market momentum is not helping yet.
Another consideration before we leave Tesla too, which being mentioned in the chat, I'm mentioning that as well, is Elon Musk's Tesla Optimus robot program head Milan Kovac stepped down. So that happened Friday night.
Yes.
Not even Friday night. That was actually announced before the close on Friday. So that was interesting too. I mean, you've got so much expectations for Optimus in this share price here of Tesla. Because let's be honest, let's just break it down. Tesla, if it was just a car company and nothing else, is probably under $100 a share. But it's not. It's got a lot of other cool things on the go. So obviously full self-drive, robotaxi, the energy business, solar,
Space.
because Solar City's in there. And the big one is
Rocket.
Optimus.
Yeah.
Well, that's SpaceX more, but Optimus, So Optimus is huge in here. There is a premium in this shares like for Optimus. I don't know how much it is, but it's probably like $100 a share in there, from Optimus, maybe more. And Milan Kovac steps down. What does that mean? Does it mean he wasn't doing a good job? Does it mean he wanted to do other things? Is he sick? We don't have a reason for it. But it's an issue. There's a lot of issues here at Tesla right now. So I think I still stay on the sidelines for that reason, because I've had so many people saying, Dennis, this is your big chance. Get back in there, because they know I sold at 390. It's 290. It's pulled back from 350. Get back in there. Get ready for the ramp. And the Tesla bulls, they're prancing around saying $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a share, including Kathy Wood. Dan Ives defending it too. I do think there is a product here for Optimus. I think it's a lot of years away though, and I'm not sure this market's patient enough to wait. So I think there's a lot of speculation that Optimus could actually be commercially viable product next year. No way. No way. Could it be 2 years from now? Maybe. I think it's more like 5 years from now where people are like, ooh, I want to get one of those things. It's a long ways out, man. And with a lot of uncertainty happening here between Musk and Trump, I don't know if you have to hurry in here. I don't know if you're going to miss it.
Dennis, the other thing that you've been focused on that you feel is like premium into Tesla shares is robotaxi. And if Optimus was the other thing, we did just get that update like you're highlighting last week on the head leaving. But also just remember that we do have a definitive catalyst upcoming for Tesla shares here with the robotaxi. We were expecting the robotaxi to launch in Austin by the end of this month. A couple weeks ago, they moved it up to the middle of the month. I believe it is this week that robotaxi in Austin is going to launch. It might be at the end of this week. So we could also get an update here on what's happening with Austin robotaxi, maybe by the end of this week, maybe next week, maybe that last full week in June. So, and then sort of another part is like the rocket space part that Dennis, you said that's SpaceX, but I think there is premium in Tesla shares related to Elon Musk wanting to go to space. And we also had an update on that last week when the bromance was playing out. Musk said that they're going to be stopping, potentially contracting with the US government. So we are getting a lot of like fluidity here in Tesla shares over the last week, and I think that's going to continue for the rest of June at least.
And there's going to be a lot more news coming with this too. I mean, the big catalyst next is obviously going to be the robotaxi launch, and then how does it go? Does it go well?
Yep.
If there's an accident, like if there is an accident, it would be really ugly, because they're like, and again, we know people are talking about the Waymos over the weekend. Those weren't Waymo accidents, the riots, they were burning Waymos. I mean, it was a mess over obviously in California with the riots this weekend. So, that's just scary stuff to see. But it's a question mark. There's a lot of question marks around Tesla right now here. We're going to finish with that. Lots of questions.
Okay, let's get a little news here. Warner Brothers Discovery. Well, they're trading higher. They plan to separate it to two publicly traded companies. I believe one is for streaming and the other is for studio and global networks in a tax-free transaction. When I first looked at this news, Dennis, no one really made a move on it, but they did.
It was halted.
I will say, going back, I mean, I can think of a couple of these splits and reorganizations that worked really well. GE
is best one.
For sure, best one. Yep.
And I'm not sure about Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Yeah. Kellogg? That stock still looks dead. I can't. And what's the other one? What's the spin off on that one?
Katie, are you thinking? So like Kraft?
No. This is Kellanova. Is this thing not moving up here, holding up near all-time highs?
They got taken over.
Right. Now it's
So
what's
they
the new
spun them
stock?
off, and then another company took them over.
It happens a lot. It happens
Oh,
a lot.
Yeah, they spun off that whole business. Kellanova Kellogg spun off, and then another company is taking them over. Mondelez, who's taking over Kellogg? I forget. It's Cash. Kellanova. I think it might be
Dennis,
Mondelez.
do you ever
Oh
like
no,
use
Mars. Sorry, not Mondelez. Mars is buying Kellanova.
Dennis,
35.9
have you
mil.
ever used a corporation like separating and divesting and splitting as a catalyst when the news is happening? I know you've traded GEV before, but like, is this a catalyst right now, or is this something that you wait till, the dust settle and these kind of companies go in their separate ways?
Joel is right that most of these financial engineering moves do not last. They usually are done out of necessity more so than out of they're trying to find a ways where shareholders are in there. You can have activists in there just saying, hey, your stock has sucked for a very long
Just do
time
something.
and do something. So then they
Yeah.
split up the companies into different parts to try to extract more value. Financial engineering, Joel calls it, and it's true. And then you see a lift, and then eventually they just all drift down. In the case of GE, that was the best one ever. That was the best one ever. Probably because all those businesses had nothing to do with each other. You think about GE, and they spun off the aerospace business, which obviously stayed as General Electric, the nuclear energy business, which is GE Vernova, and the healthcare business, which is GEHC. Those three companies had nothing to do with each other. So now they can focus all of them, and it was unbelievable. That was an unbelievable move there. I do not foresee Warner Brothers Discovery spinoff being one of those. Now we have two leading media companies. No, they're not leading media companies. This is their press release. WBD to separate into two leading media companies. No, you know what the problem is, WBD? Your companies are not leading. They suck. Sorry, I call it. That's what I do on this show. They just have not executed. The leading media companies are not HBO. The leading media companies are no longer Warner Brothers. So Discovery, CNN, I mean, I don't know. I don't see these as leading media companies here anymore. And this is done more out of necessity, in my opinion, than trying to oh yeah, we're going to go our separate ways. They're all media companies. So now you just made two companies with double the expenses because you could all manage them under one. So I think this is one that you fade. I'm not interested in it. Now, I'm not saying short it because sometimes these things can go, but I don't think this is going to be blast off central. The thing's going to go 12, 15, 20. Oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. I think this is like Paramount, all the other ones that are just legacy media that is slowly dying on the vine.
Do you have a favorite Warner Brothers character?
I don't even know Warner Brothers characters. Who's the best? Who's under Warner Brothers?
Bugs Bunny.
Yep.
I mean, that's gotta be the best
Believe
one.
it or not.
Do they still own them, or do they spin those off too?
I think they still have them.
Must.
Believe it or not, I still have a Bugs Bunny T-shirt.
Oh, that thing's
visiting. I'll wear it on the shows. Yeah.
The Looney Tunes were good, but they're all they're too violent, so they don't even play that stuff anymore on the TV because the coyote gets killed. He gets bricks thrown on his head, thrown off cliffs. They got too violent, and kids, were getting traumatized apparently by it. All of us grew up to be psycho killers because we watched the Looney Tunes. So that's it.
Yeah.
Joel's crazy. Joel is. So you can tell Joel's craziness definitely came from the Looney Tunes.
Well, you know what my favorite episode is when he's, during the winter, he would go to Miami Beach and he would pack his suitcase and then he would go in a hole and then dig his way up and then come up in Miami. Oh, Foghorn Leghorn. You talk about violence. Poor Foghorn Leghorn. Okay. All right. Let's bring things back.
Ratings.
IPOs.
Where are you going IPOs? Who's IPO?
The Circle, man.
Circle. Oh, you want to talk that one? I know. It just goes and goes forever and ever. These things just start going and can't stop.
Why did you sound like that, Dennis? You were like, oh no, yeah.
Well, I don't trade this stuff because it's too much that's too crazy for me. Like I'm just the opposite of this. This is like my nemesis is trading stocks like this. And why don't I trade them? Because they're hard to make money on. The things are wild. I can't control the risk on it. Again, I'm always risk first, return second. Where is your risk, man? Where are you going on this thing? So let's just say hypothetically it's 125 here this morning. Like I think it's going to 150, so I'm going to buy it. Okay, well, what's the contingency plan? You buy it at 125 right now. Maybe it does go to 150. It could. A coin flip territory. I think it could go to 150. But I think it could also go back down to 100. I mean, the stock closed at 107, so are you going to risk yourself down to the close and say, well, that's it? Well, then you could go down. Well, if I'm going to risk down to the close at 107, I'm going to go down to the 92, yesterday's low. Well, if I'm going to go down there, I might as well go down to the 64. And now you're down like 60% on your investment. So, like I've seen it, again and again, it's tough with 2 days of data to really have a level where you say, okay, no, buyers will emerge here. Well, no, we don't know where they're going to emerge. This thing could drop 25 points, could go up 25 points. There's just a lot of risk in this stuff after 2 days, so it's just not my cup of tea. But if you're good at trading this stuff, by all means, continue to do it. Don't let us deter you. If you're like killing it, trading stocks like Circle, get in there. But for me, I'm out on this.
Okay, earnings season. This is a quiet week. This is definitely a quiet week. Probably the highlight of the week is Oracle, right?
Wednesday,
and
yeah.
they'll either miss big or beat big. Tuesday, GME. Dennis, have you been doing the old pre-earnings run in GME or been laying off it?
I've laid off GME because I feel like they're going to do another offering to buy more Bitcoin here. It was a good move from 28 to 36. That move faded quickly. This is just MSTR part 2, it sounds like now. Like I wanted to see something, I've said this about GME before, and I think, down at 11 or 12 bucks, it's a no-brainer because they got that in cash. So, that's why I was like low 20s, and I've had it in the low 20s a couple of times and made money with it successfully. I don't mind paying like, low 20s because I feel like they got the $12 and they got the story and they got the brand. There's a big brand here. You cannot discount the brand. Everybody knows the stock. Like the memesters made the brand. So the brand is worth something. I think low 20s, it's a buy all day. I think at 29.94, I'm like, it's, elevated. Now, could it come into 25 and maybe get me interested in it again? Maybe. But at this point in time, it's just too elevated compared to its cash holdings, and it feels like it's going the MSTR way, which they just, issue stock to buy Bitcoin. It's worked well for Michael Saylor. There's a lot of companies doing this here now. Sounds like DJT is going to be another one that starts doing it. Eventually, this idea of, just paying a whole huge premium for companies that buy Bitcoin seems a little bit silly because I think you just go buy Bitcoin yourself if you're that bullish Bitcoin and you don't have to pay any premium at all. Next. Let's go to ratings.
Yes.
eToro, the quiet period ends today, this morning. The quiet period is officially over, and every analyst is coming out with a rating here this morning. I can go through them with you, but there is just a pile of them. Goldman Sachs starts eToro at buy. Jefferies starts eToro at buy. Mizuho starts eToro at outperform. Canaccord Genuity starts eToro at buy. Needham, buy. TD, buy. Cantor Fitzgerald, overweight. Deutsche Bank, buy. Then there's a bunch of market performs and neutrals, not one sell. Nobody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 ratings here this morning. There's like 10 buys, 6 neutrals, not one sell. Welcome to Wall Street, where they never tell you to sell anything.
And how long is the quiet period, Brentster?
It is 40 days for lead underwriters, and it's only 25 days for other participating underwriters.
Okay. So are we at 25 days? 3, 6, 9, 12. I don't know. We're like 18 days of data here. Oh, no, I'm wrong. No, I'm right. It came out on May 14th. So 1, 2, 3. So but it's 20. May is 25 days, but doesn't count trading days. So
I don't think it counts trading. I think it counts. Yeah. I think it's all days. Yes, because a sell side firm could do research over the weekend.
Yeah. Okay. So it's 25. You said.
So I under FINRA Rule 2241, I see 25 days for other participating underwriters and 40 days for lead underwriters. I don't know who the underwriters were for this one. I could go look it up, but But yeah.
Okay, well, I think we need to write that down too, because when these IPOs have these and these quiet periods, they all come out with buys on the 25th day.
And
So writing that
there's
down,
your potential
25-day
catalyst, right?
IPOs.
No analyst color for 25
Well,
to
you know
40
it's not going
days.
to be bad.
Well, you
Exactly.
know it's not
So
going to
we
be
might
bad.
as well all buy it on the
That's
25th
Dennis's point.
day, because on the 25th day, they're all going to come out with buys. So here we set up. Who talks about these trades except us, folks? Who talks about this stuff? This isn't a chart. No chart here. We don't need a chart for this trade.
I
We need to
I
allow on
will.
the 25th
Yeah.
day, like 25th calendar day, after the stock trades, the quiet period ends for most of the underwriters. They all come out with buys. So on the major names, this isn't going to work on some name that nobody's following. But eToro is a major name, widely traded. So think about that. You know, maybe on Circle. Maybe we should be talking 25 days now on Circle.
Absolutely.
You know, if it starts to, you know, so think about that. Write that down. Go get the calendar and write it down on the day.
Put it on your whiteboard.
Right now, count 25 days from it and buy it that day.
So for Circle specifically, the other participating underwriters were firms that maybe don't even have sell side research branches, but the lead underwriters were like tier 1 firms: Goldman, Citi, Bank of America, Deutsche Bank, Canaccord, Cantor, Needham. These are all firms that were lead underwriters. So it's not going to be I would guess it's not going to be 40 days for Circle, Dennis, which is kind of interesting.
So 25 probably for Circle as well.
A little. This company is a little bit different.
So I'm saying it wrong. Sorry.
Yes.
Clarify.
Yeah. Yes. The other participating underwriters were like firms that I don't think have sell side research. The lead underwriters all have sell side research. So 40 days is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so Circle's going to be longer.
Yes.
Okay.
They do equities and crypto assets, commodities, currencies, and options traded as an asset or derivative related to. So they seem to be like a Robin Hood on steroids as far as offer. Maybe I don't know if they allow you to short on that, but definitely with options and derivatives, you probably can find ways to short. I just don't know if this is going to be a hood or it's going to be a bull. I mean, it's getting saturated. I mean, I think these companies are okay. They're obviously a little late to the game. I think as long as you have this kind of market environment, a slow grinding, higher bull, these companies are going to be great. But if you run into another tankage, in the markets, like a major tank, unless everyone will just get in there and open up accounts then and buy the dip. Yeah, we'll see. A lot of fluff in this one. Bull hasn't caught on. ETOR. I'll just give you it's not moving a ton. Looks like made it high on Friday. We'll look at that as a target. 73.33. Dennis, we're running.
Give me the technicals on bull before you change the subject. Give me the technicals on bull. Should I try again? I've tried a couple times. I keep getting losing on this trade. Is it the time? Is it bull's time here or never? Bull's just going to the gutter and is never coming back. Because they got the old SPAC levels at $10. Wasn't it a SPAC at 10? I feel like it was a SPAC at 10.
Yeah. Yes. And then
those 10s sometimes add support to this stock, the old SPAC levels.
If
anybody else long bull, pre-market prep chat. You guys long bull, STN room. You guys long bull. The thoughts here. Should I try bull long again? Stop out under 10, I guess. Should we try it again, or it's just dead money forever? Give me your thoughts. BULL. I could be talked into it.
I mean, what's your data? This is the most this chart is I could fall asleep looking at this chart. I mean,
just leaky, continues to leak.
Yeah.
Leak.
There's the market's moved, the hood has moved. I mean, now you got more competition. There's something under the hood. That's a pun on word.
Was that a Freudian slip, or was that actually a pun you intended?
You know me, a couple days off. I'm just not as witty as I usually am.
I disagree, Joel.
I love that. There's something under the hood, and it's not bull.
It's BS, is what it is. But
it's very torn. The chat's half in, half out. Well, that doesn't help. Okay, I can get talked into it at 10 in the 10s.
Okay, we missed a lot of ratings here and a few other things, but we can hop over in the STN room and cover those and preview some other earnings for the week. Tomorrow, intern requested Greg Weldon to talk about commodities, cryptocurrencies, and the stock market. So he'll be joining us on Tuesday. Wednesday, it's a big day on pre-market prep. Blue Putnam will be with
Woo!
us live to cover the CPI number, PPI on Thursday. So we got some economic data to look forward to. Folks, thanks for joining us here on this Monday, pre-market prep.